Listening to Wolf Spirit Radio.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at Answers from the Universe and the Andronicus transmissions. So, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever you're tuning in around the world. It's nice to see you here, and we appreciate everyone in the chat room and everything else that those that are listening on YouTube. Thanks for listening and participating and writing comments. It's always good to see what people have to say and supporting also what's going on. And I get a lot of people that say thanks for some of the work that you're doing and appreciate the information that's coming through. And I find it very helpful on a personal level. It helps me to gain insight and understand what's going on around me dimensionally. So it's sort of like your weekly weather report, what's going on in the interdimensional planes. But we have a new individual that came through. It was quite interesting. He actually came through this morning. But I have talked to him a little bit off and on the past week. And finally he wanted to share a transmission. So we have some interesting information from him. His name is Libero. And I will say that, he's maybe off-world, but more dimensional space. And you'll hear a little bit more from him. We're going to hear from Borkum and Andronicus today. We have a message from Gary, a message from Meetis, and a message from Baylord. And JP, I just want to mention that Celtic music was very interesting.
It was from an album called Celtic Folkweave. Now, where did I place it? I think let me just see if I put it in the chat room there. It's, if you wrote it in English, it would read something like An Bothan An Baig, oh God, where is it? Something Fianula. Oh, wrong one. There's the one that I wanted to bring in. Yes. An Bothan An Baig Fion Guala, right? And it basically means Fiona's bothy. And a bothy is a stone building that is placed all over Scotland and Ireland, and they're a place. They're like a free house kind of thing that if the weather's bad, you can hang out in until it calms over. And they've been here for hundreds of years. And in fact, my cottage here is a bothy. It's got a particular format. It's got a fireplace at either end. It's about 30 feet long, 3 rooms of 10 foot square with a corridor out of one of them. And it's very standard. So that's what a bothy is.
So did they make those for travelers? So
travelers, moorsmen, sheep shepherders, people who are out on the moors, because it can be very, very bleak. Indeed.
Now, the name Fiona, is that a name, or does that have another meaning?
Well, no, Fiona, as in, you might have a friend called Fiona. Yeah, it's that, as in, yeah. But it's spelled in Celtic, Fionnghuala. If you take into account that anything that's got an H in it, you don't pronounce the letter before the H.
Okay.
And so that would be a Boan, that BH is egg. A Boan egg, Fiona. So that's, so, and the lyrics are supposed to be like nonsense words, not,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not
something to entertain the people and the silliness of.
Well, it's that, or it's a song. The song that people sing in the fields, doing the thing that they do in the fields.
Yeah.
But
to distract them and keep them going.
But it's called it's a modal song. There's just a single note that goes through it, and all the notes come off there. There's no change of chord, as we have in what's called modulation. Like in blues, you go from 1 to 4 to 5, that sort of thing. So it's a single chord all the way through.
Wow.
So there you go. And I'd like to give everybody a little cheers. This is a tiny little rounded glass of the finest Moniac mead. Yes. I hope you've got a little nip with you as well. And
I don't, but I'll cheers to you.
If you got builder's tea or mead, I'd like to propose a toast to go with the pate. And yes, actually, it's good to have if you have a lot of modern foods, they all contain aspartame or NutraSweet or whatever that horrible chemical is, and it creates methanol in your body, and your body cannot deal with methanol. But it can deal with methanol if you give it ethanol. It kind of catalyzes it. So if you drink, you just need a tiny little drink, half a glass of wine or a tiny nip of scotch or vodka or something like that. That will kind of stimulate your body into processing any methanol that's got in there. So you might, it does do you good. It's for a medicinal purpose. At least that's my excuse.
Absolutely. So a friend of mine brought back an alcohol-based aphrodisiac from Mexico.
Oh, really? Mexican fly,
yeah.
Huh?
I don't know what it is. I'll find out. Has some kind of herbal something in there. You know how they are in Mexico. They experiment. I don't think it's anything like really toxic or highly hallucinogenic. I don't think it's hallucinogenic. It's supposed to be more medicinal, so they say, but probably has, the other added benefits to it. But I'll find out. I'll let you know when I try it.
Vanessa says that's why I need a tiny glass for wine. Yeah. Well, what can I say?
Yeah, there you go. So, people send us things, don't they?
They do. And, I think if you can find as I was saying, it's like a local medicine. If you get, have problems with, allergies of the local area, it's recommended that you eat the local honey. So how about drinking the local mead?
That's local mead, that's right.
Yeah. Anyway.
I think the mead in Ipswich, which is not far from me, I think it's mead 1647.
Wow.
And I don't know if that's when they created the meadery or something like that. So it's been around for a while, I guess.
Wow. I wonder how many lifetimes you've hung out there.
I know, really. Honestly, I would love to be able to bring that to you. And so you can try it out. And it was really funny on the label. It said something about a wench, which was pretty hilarious, considering the whole Clandronicus thing with the wenches and the kind of medieval time period that we're all connected in.
They're all talking about tiny glasses.
Yeah.
Tiny glass for those who can't hold their liquor. Yes. There we go.
So, no. Well, I mean, we're in all different directions today.
I also want to thank you very much for the beautiful gifts you've sent to me and Rebecca. We're actually doing the creepy thing of wearing the same T-shirt. Not the same, but like you sent one.
Do you want to tell them what it says?
Yeah, this one I'm wearing is a dark blue T-shirt, indigo T-shirt. That says Area 51, no trespassing. It's like the sign outside Area 51. Use of deadly force authorized. Yeah, so they can shoot you. They're authorized to shoot you if you. So anyway,
you're wearing the sign. So
yeah, we're wearing a T-shirt with the sign on it. Not that we would shoot anybody. The only shots people get around here is a shot of mead. Boom, boom, and. So yes, we're very pleased, and we've only just started. Jessica sent a whole bunch of American sweeties, American candy. You got the candy, don't you? And including
a lot of them are those like not power bars, but we call them like nutritional bars they're good. They're making this stuff really good.
Yeah. It's not junk food. It's it's quite it's made from fresh fruits or dried fruits and stuff like that, dates and.
Blueberries. Like Larabar and I think I'm trying to think of the other brands that I sent you. maybe Luna or something like that.
Okay, then now it's descended. Hold the lick cure. Yes. Well, anyway, moving on.
Did you want to tell them about the other T-shirt?
Oh yeah,
T-shirt
there's another one
perfect for you.
that's got the control panel from Back to the Future, and so it's for the time traveling part of me, I think.
Proof that you have left. So I thought when you transport out to Jupiter, I gave you some Hershey's chocolate. So
that's right.
Americans will know what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm thinking is now somehow encourage people to export chocolate to Jupiter before I get there.
There you go.
How's that?
Yeah, we're serious.
Could be done. Could be done. Anywho, where should we go? Should we start with some...
With Borkum.
With Borkum. Uh-huh.
I think we need to start with Borkum.
Oh, where is Borkum? Oh, I didn't get them. Hang on. I have to scroll back on that thing. Oh, no, Baylord, Gary, Borkum.
Kind of that running music.
Yep. Yeah. No, the actual document here. There we go. And...
Borkum and Andronicus are still on Zephyron, trying to figure out what happened and how they got there. Borkum arrives back at the camp after meeting some creatures from Pluto called the Birelek.
Andronicus, we have visitors. I'm not sure what you call them, but they make a strange sound that sounds like they're saying Birelek. So that's what I'm calling them. Most of these creatures don't know what names are. Come here, creature. What is your purpose for being here?
The creature telepathically conveyed an image or movie of their travels, their purpose for being there, and their destination to other planets. Then they invited both Andronicus to join them on their quest.
I believe they're here from Pluto and asked us to return there with them. They've been on quite a journey that rivals many of the journeys I have been on. They're crusty-looking creatures, aren't they? I'm not sure I like their eyes. They are too black. Oh, I'm sure it has to do with their night vision abilities. It can be quite dark and dismal on Pluto, not to mention the extremity of environments. Do you have an inner base on the planet? I avoided going there because of the hostile inhabitants and other systems already ruling there.
The Birelek started looking into the supplies and began to eat Borkum's food supply.
Hey, don't touch my food. Wait, stop.
The Birelek not understanding Borkum, began to move around quickly as they thought he was playing with them. One of them grabbed a bag of vegetables and ran off.
You, get back here. Where are you going with my plants? Oh, let them eat it, Borkum. They know we have a replicator. You should be more hospitable. I'm sure they can help us. Oh, I wouldn't mind journeying to Pluto. I heard they have interesting females. Well, I can see where your mind is at. Don't you ever think of anything else? Wasn't this the reason that I had to help you out of the hands of Rhodan in the past? Don't you see the error of your ways? How many times do I have to get you out of trouble, my friend? Oh, I admit I go a bit overboard, but you must see that it does get lonely out here at times. Ah, so what am I? Boring to you? Look at all the adventures we've taken together. You act as if I am invisible at times as you drift off into your fantasies. You're nothing more than a dreamer. You're as bad as Zamfir. Sitting alone, looking at the stars, making shiny objects float, talking to creatures like these little things. What are they, anyhow? Animal? Mineral? A blend of rock and crustacean and dog? What is this? I don't even know how to classify them. Bipedal, rigid folk, cryptic, prehistoric, antediluvian, primordial. What do you call them? Oh, primordial, maybe. Early species. Try not to be so hostile. They can read your mind. That's the reason they are giving you a hard time. Taka ma.
Andronicus reached out and gave them some nuggets of powerful, nutritive food substance. Each one ate a piece and rubbed their belly.
They remind me of the dog people of Dogon. Those things drove me crazy. They had too much energy. I had to watch them all the time. If you dislike them so much, why were you always there with them? No one forced you to be with them. You lived among them when we had a campsite for you. No one forced you to do that. Sometimes one needs to have initiative. We can't all just sit by the campfire whistling and dreaming of women. We need to make sure the troops are managed. The dog tribe enjoyed my company and taught me a lot about pack creatures. By the looks of these things, they are also pack-related. Be careful now. They are much more intelligent than the Dogon and the Vinkala, whom you seem to be able to train as well. I have a feeling they may give you a hard time. Try not to dominate them too strongly, or they may rebel you. Besides, they have already requested that we work with them. I don't see any problems at this point, so let's not create any problems.
Borkum began to examine them and watch how they responded to different things.
Go on with your daydreaming. I'll take care of the Birelek. Hut! Mastu! It is me. I am your master. Hut! Mastu!
Then the Birelek got into rank, and one behind the other.
We need to get through a thorough assessment of this landmass, the planet exterior, interior, as well as our galactic calculations. Are you ready for service? And the Birelek said, Hut! Mastu! Separate into 4 groups and come back and report to me about what you find. I want to step into the planet. Which group wants to go with me?
One of the groups stood behind Borkum and another group pointed at Andronicus.
Oh, forget about this daydreamer. He'll use the replicator to prepare our food. He will use the replicator to prepare our food when we return. Let him go off into his dreams while we gather information. Return with that star. Return when that star returns to the other side.
Andronicus sat there, stunned by how quickly Borkum pulled them together as if they had worked with them in the past. He just waved his hand and watched as the troops went to discover and gather data on the planet.
Mastu.
I think that means master.
Yeah, I think so. In many languages, yeah.
Yeah.
Funny.
So Borkum, yeah, I saw him training everyone. You remember a while back they showed how the Vinkala listened to everything that he said. Completely. This is the reptilians.
Yeah.
Completely respected him and liked what he did, and now I'm seeing that he worked with these dog beings. I don't know if you've seen them, like in ancient Egypt.
Yeah, like
they're
Anubis.
Humanoid. Yeah, they're humanoid looking.
Yeah. Dog world. I think the Pleiadians used them as soldiers.
Yeah, I think they were like soldiers.
Which is probably why Borkum quite liked them.
Yeah, he likes everything, and now he's put in this group into action. I mean, they were the ones that helped me. At first, I had problems with them, but after a while, they end up being a tremendous help to me. So it's interesting that they showed up here.
And you had a conversation with one of them a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, so that was back in the past. This is a very old recording, isn't it? Or was
yeah,
this
when
today?
they were on Zephron.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're somewhere in time-space. I don't know exactly where. I don't know. I don't think it's our future. I think it's sometime in the past where the planet, sort of shows up again. They crash and land on this planet, and they realize it's Zephron, the one that they had left. So, some kind of anomalies happening there. Yeah. And haven't quite gotten to the bottom of the story yet.
So, where to next?
We can go to Baylord.
You know why I'm here? You called me?
Yes, I called because I heard there was a breach in the 18th parallel. I was told that a group of time-traveling scientists went to the 18th parallel, approximately 15 or so, giving a vaccine to the people there, particularly the elite. Do you know anything about this?
I saw them coming in, but it appeared the people wanted them to help them. They said they had an epidemic and they requested assistance from spacemen.
but they are not spacemen. They are from humans in the past or future. It's hard for me to tell. Don't they know the difference?
I don't think they cared at the time. It turned out the vaccine didn't work and many of them died. I thought it was okay to bring it in.
Well, I was told the vaccine didn't match their DNA. They are a different version of humans there. They are a mix of two races, but a different combination. The minorities there are blonde, blue-eyed. Typically everyone else has tan skin, black hair, and brown eyes, indigenous looking to me. I've seen this reality, and it reminds me of what humans believe is how we will look in the future, or if humanity mixes with all the races. I think the scientists believe they were in the future, but in fact that they were actually in a parallel. So how did they get into the parallels?
I brought them here. I wanted to see if they could help us.
Since it didn't work, what will you do?
I told them to return to the old ways and use the plant medicine they used to use in the past. That is the purpose of these plants, for them to use. Everything a society needs is in their habitat. There are a few who are affected by this illness in your world because they coexist here as well. Tell them to be patient. The illness will soon be over and they will recover.
Thank you, Baylord. I was wondering what was going on. Maybe this will resolve some of the health issues here.
Aye, lass. You're a kindly soul. Be strong and care for the weak as I do. You did a good job finding Crom again before he started up. Let's continue to work together.
I will, and say hello to the Pictish folk.
Bloody vaccines.
Yeah.
You know, everybody, like, people are dropping like flies because they took the vaccine and then they die. Because it's the wrong kind of flu. What kind of, yeah.
That happened here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
And you know, there are people that I know that had the flu and yeah, well, they didn't die, but it's kind of a problem, isn't it? You know, like the vaccine was meant for last year's virus. It's not the same strain, supposedly, but not that any of this is normal.
Well, you can virtually bet your bottom dollar that they're not going to be giving the right vaccine, you know.
Correct.
The cabal is still here, and they still want to kill us all, especially now we know about them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And trying to cover their mess, that's for sure. Well, things are still happening that are making them weaker, and people are starting to become more aware of it.
And that's including work from our friends upstairs, and our friends inside, and our friends in other dimensions. Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. What happens above, as it is above, so it is below. You know, so there's all different ways of going after the problem. And so, you know, I tell people that, you know, there's a lot of people that can actually go out there and they're interacting and for example, they do their direct disclosure. My work is not so much direct disclosure as it is other dimensional disclosure of finding what's going on in the other dimensions, seeing if we can resolve them, and then it opens up or eliminates some of the problems that are here, or at least makes them accessible, because some of them have these false realities and overlays that create a barrier from resolving anything. And so you know, it could be right there in front of you, but you can't do anything about it because it has to be resolved in these other dimensional spaces. And so that's the work that I've been doing probably about 10 years now. And you know, the information that I do from the show that I've been sharing with people, I decided to not just do it by myself, but to share with everyone. And also, I felt that I was potentially in danger at times from these beings that are off-world and those that are engaged in this activities of controlling the earth. And, you know, they didn't like what I was doing, and so I thought if I went more public on it, they're less likely to come after me, although that hasn't stopped some of them, but it did diminish some of the really, a lot of the extreme strangeness that I had to experience, and less of abduction type of activity as I got older. So, and it kind of limited a lot, but I'm glad to share it. And then also I was given a lot of other people insight, and those who have certain abilities have become more activated and have contacted me, and so more and more people are starting to get more engaged in what's happening, because this is a unified effort. There's no one hero in any of this. Everyone does their part, and if my part is just to awaken people about it and help them to remember and recall some of their abilities and what they're capable of doing, then I'm fulfilling my agreement and doing my part, just as JP, you're doing your part as well, bringing in enlightenment and insight in the same way, and many others, that do shows, and many others that have YouTube channels, and those that are doing private things as well. So, it sounds like stories, but some of it really, really does make a huge difference. And, you can see some of the things that were supposed to happen that did not happen because the work was done. And so are we hurting anyone directly? Not necessarily. We're just removing data and information and realities that don't exist here. And many times we're just sending them back to where they belong. It was almost like someone put us on this collision course of mind control nonsense and, destruction and all sorts of things that were intended to come here. And so, it's just pretty much a multi-dimensional collision course that kind of is being, deconstructed slowly. But we're getting there. So, anyhow,
I must say the mead is making you feel a lot more mellow than I was feeling a bit jangly and jagged. So that's all good. So we go on.
Yeah, it is. And you weren't feeling well, and sometimes you have to ease your physical body and ease your mind a bit, and the weight of everything sometimes brings in this pressure in your head, and you have to. I think there's a healing to the body and soul sometimes.
It's elixir. It is nectar. It is ambrosia. I think it's probably the closest we can get to ambrosia. Yeah. Anyway, let's let me start waxing on about mead and get on with the job at hand.
Okay, so let me introduce Libero. Libero contacted me, and I was visited by him a few mornings. I saw this beautiful tower, white tower. It looked more like a lighthouse, but not quite. There was some additional parts to it. And I remember just, looking at it and communicating with him. And he's somewhere in between worlds and is here to assist us. So he started explaining some things and actually had done some major work for us and helping make some change. So when I looked up the name Libero, it means liberty or liberation. I thought that was interesting. I kept on hearing that name. So let's see, how do we portray him? Slightly echoey. Just a little bit.
Okay, hang on. Now, if I do this, hang on, maybe if I press that and then add this. No, wrong one. This one. There we go. Do you hear a reverberation behind my voice there?
Yeah.
Okay, so now is that appropriate level?
Yeah, that's appropriate. That's good, actually.
Okay, so now I press this button. Now everybody else hears that. I can't do it both. Anyway.
Okay.
Greetings, everyone. I would like to introduce myself as Libero. Over 2,000 years, our planet Over 2,000 years ago, our planet intersected your planet in space-time. We were invited here to intercept the conjunction in time where planetary X was to create a pole shift. Upon arrival, we absorbed the planet into our dimension, locking it out of your dimensional field, which prevented a catastrophic event for all members, both terrestrial and non-terrestrial, to be protected at this time. At the advent and change in time of your seasons, your trek throughout the galaxy and upcoming equinox, we had decided to remove a foreign planet that created an overlay on your planet. We refer to this planet in the same context as you know it, as Urantia.
Urantia, yeah.
Urantia. This planet introduced much of your religious concepts that were not originally a part of your planetary construct. This belief system introduced religion, a type of Christianity, laws and guidelines and control systems that had no origin or basis on Earth. Not only did they invade your reality, but they had also invaded our reality and dimension, and even began to take our information and the symbolism of the white watchtower that they had seen in my reality. I told them that they did not have permission to bring my information from the house of Libero into their construct of religion. The symbol of the watchtower, the lighthouse, was not from Urantia, but from my home. In your reality, the watchtower is often used as a religious symbol. I need to inform you that you have overlays upon overlays of systems that were never intended to be adapted, and even more so imposed upon humanity. Urantia has been found guilty of imposing religious servitude upon the multitude of humanity, and will be judged according to the 32 galactic races both on and off-world. Both Planetary X and Urantia have been safely removed without one injury or casualty in the process. We at the House of Libero, 14 dimensions from parallel Earth, have committed to assist the well-being of humanity throughout its development and growth, and we commit to never impose, insert, or cause any harm to this civilization. It is also important to note that you retain many other constructs that are not your own, and they will also need to be removed in order for sovereignty and liberation. Thus, we refer to ourselves as Libero, liberation.
Libero, thank you for your assistance. We've been asking for help for some time now, and there has been a great deal of confusion regarding the reason why we have so many control systems. This is all beginning to make a lot of sense to me. I can recall seeing your white lighthouse. Is this your home?
Yes. I don't need much. I like a simple dwelling overlooking the water.
Will I be working with you in time?
I stepped in to assist humanity because I realized that they were locked out of their own decision-making. However, in time it will be required that humanity requests change in order for us to intercede. It is probably best that we don't further discuss any changes just to ensure that it is done correctly.
One other question. Do you work with Jericho?
Yes. On occasion we do as well with Borkum. I bid you peace. Yeah, very light energy, yeah.
Yeah, he's light. He's very interesting. Not intrusive whatsoever. Extremely evolved. I think this is the type of energy people were looking for. You know, I know that when I introduced Andronicus, they were a little disappointed because of his kind of earthly appetite, I should say. But Libero seems to be much more lofty, and I think this is the kind of energy that people have been looking for. And I understand why. I know that he brings in an energy of complete unselfish benevolence. And what I thought was interesting is he can take a look at everything on the earth and see that there are these layers of different types of systems. And this is what I was talking about. On one of the transmissions that I did earlier, I literally saw Planetary X, or they call it Planet X, but for some reason they're saying it to me as Planetary X. I don't really know the difference.
Yeah, that's funny, isn't it? Maybe they refer to planetary as the multitude of planets that make up the multitude of globes that make up a planet. You know, like all the different spheres together as a whole is the planetary system, or the planetary maybe. I don't know. I'm just trying to throw some idea up.
No, that seems to make a lot of sense to me, because that's exactly what it looks like, what you just described. So that makes a lot of sense. And you know, as I'm seeing it, I don't know how to describe things at times. I try my best and to try to find something similar. But when they say something to me, I try to repeat it exactly the way that they say it, even if it feels like I want to do a grammatical correction or, change the word to fit the English language. Sometimes I don't deliberately, and some people probably say, well, she just sounds like an idiot. But it's just like, if I change it, does it change the meaning? And I don't want to change the meaning. I want it to come to exactly the way they're saying it, so that people can kind of stop and look at it and see that maybe it indicates something more. There are times when I hear words, I don't even know what they mean, or sometimes the language that comes through, I try to keep that as clear and phonetically similar to what I hear. So if people are wondering what is actually going on when I'm doing this stuff and the words, it's not like I'm screwing up at all. I'm just trying to write it down the way that they say it. So a while back, I heard the same thing, planetary acts. I saw some beings on the inside of our Earth, but as I say, it's a honeycomb Earth. That means there's little pockets of civilizations inside the Earth through caverns and all different entry points going inside. And it was like an overlay, dimensional overlay, and I could see these beings moving around. And then I said, well, who are they? And I could see them clearly, and then I heard planetary X. And then they showed me a planet almost like dimensionally merging with our planet. Now, maybe it was intended to collide with us, but instead, these other beings shifted them slightly out of dimension, so when they came through, it didn't collide with us. It actually just went in another slight dimension. So, there was no collision of matter. Instead, it was a dimensional shift. This is how things have been happening for years. I mean, the odds of us getting hit by other planets and other masses of asteroids and so forth is very, very high. If you think about everything out there now, we even have all this these vehicles, and garbage kind of floating around out there, which we really need to get rid of, or else we're going to have problems later on, or soon, I could say. But as far as the things that go on galactically, I believe this is how they've been managing it. These beings know how to take these planets and move them out of dimension, just out of sync, so it doesn't quite hit us. But the problem is even though it didn't collide with us, there was this heavy influence that came in. And so now they were introducing a new control system. They were probably going to create battles and wars and then start taking territories and doing different things. And really, since they are sort of parked on the interior of the planet, they're probably going to create a civilization there. And then figure out how to, step through dimensionally as well, just as some of the other civilizations. And it's very possible that this is how we kind of got this overlapping of all these different civilizations that have stepped in, and it's because, they came in, maybe they were shifted out of dimension, but still remained. So, Libero, just, somehow he had a clear channel to us, communicated with me, and showed me what he was going to do, and then I saw him literally take out a planetary axe, which could have been, the multiple planets or circles, out together at one time, and I watched him do it. And then he went on to talk about Urantia. Now, Urantia is actually something that people have been, have talked about. It's been around for a little while, and has a lot of what one would call Christian belief. Now, is this the origin of Christianity? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just, providing the information. I'm not saying I'm an expert. I suppose I could get more data on it. But it looks like it came here a couple thousand years ago and introduced a system of what was originally perceived as morality and enlightenment, or a belief system of some of these beings that were related to this civilization and these teachers, like Abaddon or something like that they said. They had me look into this stuff a while back, and I didn't know why. And I thought, well, this is kind of a fringe group, and there are many here on the planet. And is this an attack on them? Maybe from my perspective, I don't have any problem saying something, because I don't see what they contributed. And if anything, they introduced a religious system, belief system that kept people locked in and bound. And so I had to, when he removed that system, same thing, it looked like a planet that was literally removed and created an overlay. So how many more of these? I don't know. But if people are interested, I'll continue doing my work and sharing with you anytime I see something removed. I'm not doing it. These others are doing it. I'm a witness. That's right. So I'm just there observing, sharing. So hopefully, it gives you some insight. Meanwhile, we still have two others to hear from. Meetis, do you have your guitar?
Meetis. Yes, I have my guitar here. Hang on a second. Where's my mouse gone?
This brings us to a lighter note.
5 screens, 1 mouse. Okay, quite a small one this time.
That's your world there. Multiple layers of things.
How many tabs have I got open?
Yes.
Hello, flower. It's the time for the season now, isn't it? Change is in the air again. I can always feel it, the winds of change. I'm happy that I was able to reveal that I was Ulrich von Liechtenstein. You have no idea how liberated I feel since I have done that. We all have things in our lives that are hard to talk about, especially if we have a bit of a history. There are phases we go through, some high and some low. The low phases sometimes bring us into the dark alleys, and we find ourselves mixing with the unsavory dregs. They will take your fineries right off you if you're not careful. The worst part of it, they will be looking right at you while they are thieving. I see the snakes in their eyes. Anyhow, I don't want them to be confused with the simple or hard-working folk. They're quite a different lot, I say. So here's a song for many to learn. Come sing with me, come sing with me, listen, I will lend. Don't trust the ones who still with greeting hands, don't shake their hands, don't turn your backs, don't close both eyes. If you can, they will rob you blind. Take your pride to the ground, and I slip you from dark to nowhere's land. I say this in love, be not a simple dove. Count your tally if you were, and close your purse and pocket till. Count your blessings now and then, that the many tricks they have to get in. In my days, the creatures run with people on the street for fun. In time, the creatures have grown. They came to governments to own. We will take them off the earth, the thieves, I mean, of course. They tax and take much more. The soul they break for sure. The hearts are much heavier when they are around. We will take them from their throne. Then no longer lives their drones. A window of time is now clear. The end of their reign is near. Keep focused as I say. Tomorrow is your no day. La 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 la. Tomorrow is your new day. La 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 la.
Very nice.
Oh, felt nice.
Little words of wisdom from Meetis.
Good old, yeah, it's a good song. Oh, that one, that's a nice one. Yeah, maybe somebody could pick that up.
Yeah, well, we have requests of your songs, JP. Just a reminder, I actually had someone text me and say, well, you know, I love that song that JP did.
Well, I suppose, you know, if you want to come and, you can clip them out of the YouTube and make a compilation. You know, it doesn't have to be me. Some of them, I find that some of them are well overdriven. You know, that I'm too close to the mic or something, it comes out distorted, which is a shame. But maybe they could be, you know, I'm sure Meetis is not a copyright kind of guy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, but I think people like the way you're doing it.
Yeah, well, I'm just making it up as I'm going along. So. Yeah. I try and stay in key.
Yeah, just let it go.
Yeah.
Right, I'm sure everyone will agree with me because I had so many people say, hey, you know, it'd be nice to have that music there.
Yeah, I'm also, when I sing as Meetis, I'm starting more and more to sing more like the kind of Anthony Newley, David Bowie kind of thing. And it's actually much easier to sing like that. For some rate, because you're shaping the form of the note, you're kind of making it a bit like that. So, it's quite interesting to work with that.
It's great. It varies each week. You got approximately how many songs? I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I can't remember when Meetis started leaving songs. Because it wasn't right at the beginning, you know, was it?
No. It was just sort of little melody here and there, but we knew he was a troubadour.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I hope I do justice to his music because, I mean, does he just give you the words to this? Does he recite it as a poem or is he singing it?
Yeah, I just write it as I hear it.
But is he singing it or is he saying it?
I don't really hear him singing it, I hear him saying it.
Alright, okay. Interesting.
So I don't have, maybe he does that on purpose so I don't have any expectation of the melody.
Yeah. Because it's, you know, I don't know, today, just, you know, while I was warming up there, I was just playing the chord of A. So today's Meetis song is brought to you in the chord of A major.
Well, the way I look at it is I channel the lyrics and you channel the song.
And the fa-la-la. Oh, I had the reverb still going. Oh, there we go. Oh, I bet.
Oh no, you had the reverb going with the song. That's awesome.
Well, that's good. It's actually, that works, you know, having a little bit of reverb as well. That makes it sound better. Yeah. So, as Vanessa, turn off the echo. Yeah, that's right. You still have your echo.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Yeah, we've done that. Yeah. Echo is off. So, we have someone else, don't we?
We have Gary.
We have Gary.
Don't ever have Gary as an oversight. You know how offended he gets about everything.
Absolutely.
And not to mention, I just did a session for Brian. And I said I can just imagine Gary's, his comments right now. But Brian said something funny about he had a dream when they brought him into this space and there was someone was dancing, just really ridiculous. And I thought, well, there he is with the Emerthers.
Wow. So, let's see if we can, let's go down to the transporter room and see, if we can wait for Gary to beam in. Hang on.
Okay.
Hello? Oh, hello. There you are. Hello? Oh, so, what are you writing about today?
All sorts of things, Gary. And how are you?
I'm lovely, as usual. I ran out of cinnamon today. They don't always have good quality cinnamon here. That's better. Hey, I'm lovely. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's a little bit too echoey.
Yeah, hang on. Something's wrong. Something is wrong in the force. I hear the force. It's going. How about yes, there is something wrong. There's something wrong. There is something wrong. Very wrong. Hello. What are you writing about today?
All sorts of things, Gary. And how are you today?
I'm lovely, as usual. I ran out of cinnamon today. They don't always have good quality cinnamon here. I'm sure they're adding things to it that make it taste quite bland and woody. Woody. If I want to chew on bark, I'll purchase some toothpicks instead. Why do they go through so much effort to ruin everything that is good on this planet? Somebody should say something. Note to self, torment Monsanto. Very well. So, I was sitting in my space capsule the other day and I had a collision with a cliff. It wasn't pretty. I think it knocked a bit of sense into me as I was seeing stars. Pretty lovely sparkly stars. And then I crashed. And that wasn't pretty.
Did you destroy your capsule?
Yes, but I know how to fix it. Look at these hands. These are worker hands. I would never allow anyone to fix my capsule. That is something very personal.
Well, I'm happy to hear that you are okay and doing well.
We are a bit resilient, but there are so many hard, edgy and pointy things here. Let me see. Do you like chocolate? No, I didn't think so.
Wait, I didn't get a chance to respond yet.
When you nod your head, it means no or yes.
It means yes.
Then why didn't you respond then?
I didn't have a chance. You responded in light speed.
I see my sarcasm is rubbing off on you.
Well, probably so. Why did you ask me about the chocolate?
I ran out of things to say. Oh yeah, Valentine's Day. Don't humans consume much chocolate at this time?
Yes, they do, Gary. It is a day of love.
Love. Sweet love. Do you love me?
Yes, I love you, Gary.
Will you send me some chocolate with cinnamon on it? Otherwise it tastes too bland. Yuck.
I'll see what I can do. I don't know what brand sells chocolate with cinnamon.
Really? Is it that hard to find cinnamon chocolate?
Yes, Gary. I don't recall seeing it anywhere, but I'll look. Just for you, Gary. Happy Valentine's Day, Gary.
Happy Valentine's Day to you and all these lovely creatures who love me now. See, I'm blushing. I'm going. Bye.
I still don't know what to make of Gary. Anyway.
Have you ever seen cinnamon chocolate? I haven't.
No, it sounds like a real gourmet thing to do. Here you go, folks. There's a niche. Cinnamon chocolate. It might taste nice. I put cinnamon in things. Hang on.
Yeah.
Cinnamon is ground bark though.
Well, he says that they're mixing it with something. He doesn't like it.
Yeah. Oh, Mexican chocolate has cinnamon in it, according to Vanessa.
Ah, okay. That makes sense, Vanessa. Don't they put like a hot cayenne?
Yeah, I've had chili chocolate.
Yeah.
That's really quite interesting. I don't know if I'd eat it on a regular basis, but some people are interested. You know, dark chocolate with hot chilies in it.
Yeah. Actually, it's a good hot chocolate that way. It's very good because it's the warm feeling with that extra warmth to it. Yeah, it's excellent. Great idea.
Great. So we are at the top of the hour. Did you want to add anything to the current mix? Let's put it like that.
Okay, so we have a Rhodan's Earth Council group of people that they had me speak to, and we created a group, and it's called the Rhodan's Earth Council, and kind of work on the things that Rhodan has requested to do. And I don't know if it's going to expand in time, but this is one of the groups that I've been working with, as well as the Eons, and there are probably others that I think will open up to someday. But Rhodan's Council has been together for quite a while now, and so they wanted to. They're sort of doing a roundtable now. On occasion, they're putting together a pre-recorded show, and so for this half hour, just to introduce you to the group, we're going to do the half-hour show that is playing in the network off and on here and there. So enjoy, have a wonderful week, and many blessings to all of you, and thanks for listening in, and I will be back again next week. But until then, stay tuned and listen to the Earth Council. I'll also be in there as well.
And before that, we're going to play some tunes by Kallio.
Kallio, about 3 songs from Kallio, and he's an Icelandic singer who I believe lives over here now in the U.S.
Thank you very much, Jess.
Okay, thank you.
A group of seekers came together, interested in Jessica R.L. Morocco's work, the Andronicus transmissions, aired on Wolf Spirit Radio every Monday. Facebook pages, websites and Skype conferences developed, leading to a small group of souls being hand-picked by Rhodan himself to take a seat on the Rhodan Earth Council table. A new council developed from the need to preserve the old wisdom. Today, we are 13 members, including Jessica. Welcome, dear friends, to Rhodan's Earth Council.
Hi there, and welcome to Rhodan's Earth Council. My name's Ian. Today we have 6 members of the council. We've got Christina, Devin, Anne, Ray, and Rolf. I myself, I was looking for a soul group. I was really a point where I needed direction. I was struggling by myself, and I kind of put out a wish to the universe. I said, soul group, where are you? And and as if by magic, this kind of group manifested, and I'm sure it happened with most people. And yeah, perhaps we could all share a little bit of our story so you get to know us. Christina, would you like to share some of your story?
Sure. I was on a goal to find anything, all things JP, For some reason, I was just on YouTube, so I had found Studio 9 Jam, and was not having a lot of luck finding audios just with JP on it. Hadn't figured out Full Spirit Radio yet, and YouTube kept trying to automatically play one of the Answers from the Universe videos, and I would stop it, and I would look at the graphics. At that time, the graphics had Jessica's name as the host, had different pictures from the Mary Tarot deck that had the names of some of the characters, and it said that JP did the voice of Andronicus. So I was like, I can't listen to this right now. This is a bunch of channeling. I can't deal with this right now. So a couple weeks later, I get a notification on YouTube, and it included Jessica's name on an audio that had taken place a couple of months prior to the current time I had found this link. And since I had already caught on to her name, I was like, okay, this is interesting. This is the one that she had done a talk with JP and Andrew Bartzis and Keith Roberts. And I was just really, Rhodan came through in that discussion. And it's one of those moments that I'll probably never forget. I was like, who is Rhodan? And journaled that night specifically after listening to that. So I went and I listened. I made the selection to listen to the most current audio that was out at the time. I believe Technotron was one of the ones appearing in that, so it's about that time frame. And by the time I got to Meetis, I felt like, okay, I really need to go back to the beginning. And that's when I caught on to Low Spirit Radio, and I downloaded all of the shows and listened to the archives. Thankfully, I had the time to do this, and I think in a matter of 2 weeks, I was completely caught up. And I was so excited because it just clicked for me instantly. I liked the style and the format. I felt that there was a lot of disclosure being shared, but it was done in a way that it wasn't intruding in my life journey. And it validated a lot of points for me from listening to that first audio to all the different things, all the different audios that I listened to. It was just amazing. I really felt like I had come a step further in my own journey of getting to know more about myself and I was excited about what the future had, because at the time there was just so many things, going on, and trying to find what rang true with me. And I felt like I had made I was headed in the right way.
Yeah, what really resonated you with the transmissions? Because you've got a reputation amongst the group as being like the group's librarian. You kind of you've got a handle on most of the themes and the topics. What really resonated?
Probably the way that it is told like a story. I've always been able to read books, and if I'm really engaged in the book, I can give you a full summary of a book. I wasn't like that in school, so.
Yeah.
And I also, on a personal level, I would probably blame it on my astrological chart because of my placement of Jupiter and Venus and Neptune make a very interesting conjunction, and I was just, I was just really kind of like taken in by it, and just really excited because for me the messages were so personal. Somebody could say, oh, this is just a story or whatever, but if you listen to it, you can take it in. What the words being shared, if you allow your imagination to to go kind of wild with what is being said in the transmissions. There just feels like certain things about your life are coming together. Another thing too is, like I said before, I was on a goal to listen to all things JP. When I first heard JP, it was a visceral moment for me. I literally came out of my chair and wanted to know who this person was, who this voice that I was listening to. And it so happened that the audio that I first heard him on, it became very synchronistic, very instantly. Like, all of a sudden I would say, oh, I bet you anything, like JP got asked a question, and I said, oh, I bet you anything he's going to say this, and he would say it. And then towards the end of that audio that I listened to, everybody on the call was just like, JP, we love you, we love you. And I'm like, oh my goodness, okay. So this is his signature frequency. Everybody, that listens to him, or a lot of people get captivated and drawn in, and I'm an empath, and his voice, and then as I listen
I think it's just one of those, it's the information that resonates, and I kind of felt that it tied in with how I was thinking at the time, and it just felt really good.
Yeah, I guess it's like music. When you hear music, it was a vibration. Whatever I had studied prior to getting to the transmissions, I knew that I was looking for a certain frequency, for a certain vibration. I knew that my body and my heart would recognize it. I knew that I was looking for soul family. So all of these things, were an instant validation for me when I started to listen.
Great stuff. Well, thanks very much, Christina. Devin, you've been a contributor to Wolf Spirit Radio in the past before, and in the chat and everything. What actually drew you to the transmissions?
Well, the transmissions came out in 2015, and I had just had a dark night of the soul experience in 2014. And so I was like already on a spiritual journey and looking for truth and wisdom where I could find it. And so I didn't have like TV, so I used YouTube as a form of entertainment and research. I think I came across JP's channel on YouTube, and it was a different show, but I followed him because I really like Christina said, I really liked the sound of his voice, and they were put together pretty well. So it really kept me interested in all the information that kept coming out and the different posts. It was probably like Ever Beyond that really got me into Wolf Spirit Radio. And then I found out that there was a chat room and that they had psychics where you could, if you caught like a good show on the right day, you could get a psychic reading, right? And so more information about self, that kind of thing. But what really attracted me to the Andronicus transmissions was it started for entertainment reasons, because JP really is an entertainer, and Jessica keeps things pretty light as well. And so it makes me laugh a lot of the transmissions. So it brings some levity. And then, of course, there's a lot of really good wisdom and information that you can draw from the transmissions. And like Christina said, a lot of the messages are like universal. They're not always individual, but sometimes they can be, but they're universal for like everybody.
So you see the kind of like the private information in the transmission kind of seems to be on a one-to-one to different people, but there's an archetypal overview of the information, isn't it, that can be carried through maybe. Is that what you meant?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I think with the transmissions, I think one of the things that really interested me was how, Jessica being the originator, if not being the key person with them, and the playoff with JP, it just adds, it kind of makes to a really good show. You know, it kind of blurs the realms of entertainment, whereby you've got entertainment, but also you've got some really important information that's coming out in the form of, it's very edible for me. You know, I can munch it easily.
Yeah, it's not mind-numbing.
No, that's right, yeah. Well, great stuff, Deb. Thanks very much, man.
Mm-hmm.
Next we've got Ray. Ray's been a kind of member of Wolf Spirit Radio, joined a lot of shows regularly in the chat, kind of very well-informed guy. Ray, how did you come to the transmissions?
Well, I was listening to Wolf Spirit Radio before the transmission started, and it's like everybody else that we're all saying. We're all looking for something. I was looking on the internet and looking at certain other shows, and I come across Wolf Spirit Radio, and I enjoyed it. I was listening a lot, had a chat there. I never went in the chat after about 8 months of listening to Wolf Spirit Radio, because I'm not very good at typing and all that. And sometimes it goes so fast and sometimes it doesn't. But listening to JP, I love all the shows. There's all the shows you start doing. And then just the show's gone. I thought, this is different. This is so interesting. And it just kind of hit me. And just draw me in. And I felt, this could be something quite exciting. So, you know, because as they were talking, so we don't know where we're going to go. We really don't. Jess and JP was there. And as we know, the show just drew on and on and on. And it's got so much interest in it. And so I just felt something about this show, you know. And I had a reading with Jessica one time, and then that started off something, you know, with people in Staffordshire meeting, and most of the people who was there was basically from the people in the chat. I thought, this is amazing. And it really brought the group together on this show a bit more closer.
Yeah, it was really soul group stuff, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's, you know, how some people you instantly chat to, and you've just got a feeling that you just have something a bit more close than you know them before, although you haven't never seen them. They're overseas or all around the world. And it just brings this little group together, like a lovely little heart shape, and I just love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a bit like you, Ray. I heard of Jessica through the transmissions, and I had a couple of sessions with her, and yeah, she's a very medium and so on.
Yeah, you know, and listening to the show, and as the show's, well, probably coming up for 3 years, and about 5 months' time, I suppose. But, you know, and people in the show just look so forward to the show. With JP, with his multi-talent and doing all the different voices, just makes it so jealous.
Yeah, he's a star, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be so. We all know there's bad crimes out there, there's everything, you know, but we have got to be a bit more light-hearted about things, trying to, you know, raise our vibrations, basically.
Yeah. There's a lot of dark stuff out there, isn't there? And a lot of people do focus on kind of primarily on the dark stuff. But I find with the transmissions, it gives a nice mix of upbeat humour, but it doesn't downplay the seriousness of things. But at the same time, it's
we know
more understandable. Do you agree?
I do, because what I'm saying is, we know about the darkness. We know about this. You know, if you read the papers and the news, and we don't do that. But this is a bit more, the other side of it is a lot more good on the other side, you know, and this is what we're trying to put through. There's a lot more loving than there is of this dark side. So
Absolutely.
this is what this group is bringing out the love to basically banish this dark.
Yeah.
So,
it amazes me how like 2% darkness can take over so much.
Yeah. Exactly. just draw you back there a little bit, you know, but we're 2 steps in front, 1 behind. And that's what this group's all about.
Yeah.
That's what the whole show's about, actually.
I love it. It's kind of moving forward with with intent and confidence.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much, Ray.
Thanks very much, Ian.
Cheers. Speak to you in a bit.
Thank you.
Next is Rolf. Rolf again has been an experienced Wolf Spirit Radio listener and contributor. Rolf, what brought you to the transmissions?
Well, it started a couple of years ago. Like, I've been, you know, searching for a place to call home in the sense of a community or people for a lot of years now. And like a couple of years ago, you know, I guess started the spiritual path, as one would call it. I started to listen to some of these shows. You know, it started out the basic stuff, like how 9/11 wasn't exactly what we thought it was. And, you know, from there on, kind of rolled into these new layers of information. And at some point, I stumbled on Jessica's show on YouTube for some reason. I think still to this day that it was kind of like pointed out to me more so than I stumbled on it. But, you know. And for some reason, I didn't get it at first. Like, with all due respect, at first I thought, like, is this, like, are we reading a book here? Like, what is this? And so it's like, you know, I was pulled to it, but I guess at that point in time I wasn't ready or whatever it was. I put it to the side and that was that. And through my journey, I guess a couple of months later I would stumble on it again, or it would be pushed forward again. And I gave it a little bit more attention than the first time, but still couldn't quite make up what it was. I realized it wasn't a book. I started to realize it was channeled information. And slowly but surely I started to listen to more and more like what these characters were saying, and like how the others were saying. Like sometimes these messages are both universal but both very personal at the same time. Sometimes it's like they are talking directly to you, and the more I progressed in a way on my spiritual path, I started to open up to the messages more and more, and I started to connect to them more and more. And at some point I decided to do a session with Jessica, and from there on I got invited into the group, and I can now safely say that I found a place I can call home. You know, I found my soul family, and you know, the Wolf Spirit chat room. It's you know, it's helped me a lot. It's a beautiful place to be in, beautiful thing to be a part of. And I guess like the thing I love the most about, for example, Rhodan's messages is there's really never anything we really have to do. His message most of the time, to me at least, is just be and know that we are here to support you. And it's such a beautiful thing, I think. And so, yeah, I guess that's where we are now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ralph. I thought the term soul family was just being bantered around for other people, just to kind of generally clumping people together. But when you connect into it, there's an amazing amount of growth and shared experiences and kind of belonging. I think it's very important for everyone. So this is, I think, why I think this show was so important to me, because it kind of unfolded into a soul family, into a knowingness.
Definitely. And then we start to realize that we've all shared a certain experience with Rhodan at some point in our path as a soul. And then now to, be able to reconnect to all those souls. It's just, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's deep, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I'm really happy that, the wonder hasn't left this world. So,
no, that's right. Yeah.
It's all very positive.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Rolf. And now we have Anne. Hi, Anne. Anne's been a follower of Wolf Spirit for a while and has been in and out of the chat. How did you come to understand the transmissions?
I started to listen to them through my very dear friend, and it took a while for me to understand as well, even though I've been a seeker for a long time, over 10 years, and so I kind of approached this as a way to gather information and truth. And I really like the symbology in the language and the archetypes that come through when Jessica and JP talk. And I was really surprised to be invited to this council after a session with Jessica, when it turned out that I are part of the soul family. I was really surprised and overwhelmed, and wonder how I will fit in here. So yeah, I really like the intention of the group, and especially what Rhodan says, that keep peace and hold up the highest potential for humanity. So I especially appreciate our joint meditations where we hold that as an intention. So yeah.
Great stuff. Okay, thanks, Anne. So yeah, that's our group. We are lucky today to have Jessica with us. Actually, she's just been able to join the call. I hope your ears weren't burning, Jessica. We've been talking about you a little bit.
No, it's just feeling the love over here. Everything feels good. It's a nice energy that I stepped into, and it's wonderful that everyone, we have a really beautiful group, and everyone that I have learned or have met during this journey and doing the shows, every person that contacts me, it's just a gift. It's really amazing, beautiful people that are authentic, that have a heart for each other. The Wolf Spirit clearly created an environment where we could, open up and be creative and not feel judged. It's very sensitive to be a seer, to be someone that channels, and to be in a place where you feel safe enough to provide your information without someone really trying to tear it apart or challenge the authenticity of it. And it's been a very welcoming environment. And when I met everyone from the group, I knew immediately that they were supposed to be a part of this. I was told that there should be Rhodan said that he had a higher council, and he told me that at one time he had many councils, And there was even a point where some of the council split up, or with any group, sometimes the groups don't end well. So he asked me to gather some of the people that were already around, that were listening and waiting and learning, and said, invite them. And the worst thing that they could say is no, but invite them, and we have many different types of discussions, but it's been wonderful, and I'm glad that I listened, and I'm glad that, the more we get to know each other, the more it feels like family, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I, for one part, would like to thank you for your work in bringing this information forward and kind of teaming up with Wolf Spirit, with JP, to increase the audience, because for me it was very important, and I'm sure for the rest of the group, I'm speaking for the rest of the group, I'm sure they can say themselves, but it was kind of very important to hear this information that became a bit of a catalyst, It was a catalyst to the soul group growth, and
well, there's so much to say. Yeah, there's so much to say that the Andronicus transmissions was to me was an accident. It just sort of happened. But the Rhodan Council was not an accident.
No. It's only kind of just got started, isn't it? So with Andronicus and the numerous characters, Rhodan, and I think the message is just starting to roll, with the councils formed, and everyone's starting to get their voice now. So it's exciting times.
It is, and the wisdom, like you said, it's good to have fun. It's good to laugh in a time when there's a lot of worry and stress and care, and it's good to join together and not feel like you're isolated and alone. There's a few different things in our society right now that I think this remedies immediately, and be there to support one another, and trying to figure out and understand what actually is going on, and receiving those messages that you need to hear that help you to be strong and to move forward.
Yeah. So we've got a few minutes left, Jessica. Would you like to share your website information and things?
Sure. People can visit me at readingsbyariel.com. That's www.readingsbyariel.com. They can also look on YouTube at Studio Jam from Wolf Spirit Radio. They'll find all the Andronicus transmissions, and we also have Andronicus transmissions website. We have an Andronicus a Clandronicus group on Facebook. It's Clandronicus, so it's open if people want to join and kind of see the messages and different things and participate. That's open to the public. And of course, the show is weekly on Mondays right now, from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Monday evening to hear us live. Thank you, Ian.
Well, thanks for taking the time out to join us, Jessica. I know you're very busy. This is the first of the Rhodan Earth Council meetings, so thank you for listening. And we'll be speaking to you sometime soon. Bye for now.